There are some things that are just universal. Good morning, I'm Rock 107's Prospector. Some things so ubiquitous, so ingrained, we all do them, even if we think we're the only ones. Let's shed the light on the things we all do on Rock 107. There will never be a pee as satisfying as the one you have when you first go to a swimming pool.
We all do it.
When you bump into something, do you say ouch even if it didn't hurt?
We love to do it.
We all do it. The shared experiences we all have on Rock 107. Does anyone else say to themselves, Wednesday, when you're writing down Wednesday?
Come on, you do it. You know you do it.
There's genuinely nothing funnier than somebody trying to remove their shirt and then throwing a tantrum when their hands get trapped in the cuffs.
You do it.
No, I don't.
You want to do it.
Every single one of us does it, even if we think we're the only one. We all do it on Rock 107. People who say things on social media like, I'm sorry I haven't been here much in the last few days, they need a reality check. Look, you're not a celebrity, Sandra. No one missed you till you mentioned it.
I do it. I love to do it.
And I'll still be calling Twitter long after Elon Musk has exploded in a fireball on Mars.
I just did it and I'm ready to do it again. Don't tell me you don't do it.
We all do it on Rock 107.
And now it's time for another episode of 1 Minute Inside a Woman's Head.
Well, I didn't win the Powerball. Wasted $60 on tickets. But hey, I matched 2 numbers and the Powerball on 1 ticket. I won $7. Well, really, I lost $53. What was I thinking? Yeah, I was going to win the lottery. I've got better chances of getting struck by lightning twice. Great, now I'll be worried about getting struck by lightning next time it rains instead of spending my millions, living in a beach house, paying someone to get struck by lightning. Wait, why would I pay someone to get struck by lightning? Oh, what the hell, if I won the lottery, I could afford it. I could also afford to pay off my student loans, the house, the credit cards, and maybe retire someday.
And that was another episode of 1 Minute Inside a Woman's Head.
And now it's time for another episode of A Few Seconds Inside a Man's Head.
Well, I didn't win the lottery. 12 tickets and I got one lousy number. The least they could do is give us some eye candy to look at as a count the money I wasted on tickets. I mean, I'm used to having women around as my wallet's drained, right?
And that was another episode of A Few Seconds Inside a Man's Head.
Heck, you might be someone like this. Good morning, I'm Rock 107's Prospector. Today's the day, the big emergency test. Now, we got a bunch of Americans about to synchronize their phone checking at 2:20 p.m. when the alerts go off, right? The government decided today's the day for the big old test of their emergency alert and wireless emergency alerts. They're going to ping every radio, TV, and Joe's cell phone out there. Don't fret. Just let it slide. It's like those emergency broadcast system tests that you're so familiar with. This ain't the first radio neither. Federal law says they got to give this system a whirl every few years, and the last dance was back in 2021. The idea, they want to make darn sure the system works, right? Because when a real emergency hits, like a nuclear war or something huge, there ain't no time for tech support. This test, it'll be a blip, but we'll all ride it out. Well, most of us. You've got some conspiracy folks, bless their hearts, swearing they're going to dodge this. They're going to shut their phones off for the day. And their theory, get this, they think the alert will activate nanoparticles swimming in folks' bodies. Yeah, you heard that right. They're chatting about graphene oxide and COVID vaccines. Now, let's be clear. Graphene oxide isn't in any vaccine. And even if it were, scientists say you can't just flick a switch and make it dance. It doesn't work like that. You can't turn it on. You can't activate it to do things. But maybe you still believe something nefarious is going on with this test today. All right. I can debunk any conspiracy theory about this test with one thought. You ready? Here it is. Why in tarnation would the government tip their hand like this? Why would they tell you what it was going to be? If they're going to try and take over your thoughts and control you or whatever, why would they be like, hey, we're going to puppeteer y'all, but first, make sure your phone's on at 2:20 today. Come on. Or maybe I'm in on it. Oh.
Life's pretty tough right now. There's plenty of bad news, but it's not all bad. It's time for the brighter side of Prospector on Rock 107.
That 50-pound pet tortoise is back home at the Mahoning Valley Animal Hospital in Lehighton after escaping from his pen for a third time in recent years. His name's Tank, and he could have died if the temperature dipped too low at night. He went missing 2 weeks ago and made it about 2 miles before someone spotted him.
Thanks. We needed that. The brighter side of Prospector on Rock 107. Breaking the news that's already broken. It's time for Prospector's Briefs on Rock 107.
Burger King has brought back the Ghost Pepper Whopper. It's part of Burger King's new partnership with Charmin toilet paper. Tyson Foods is accused of using child labor. Are you kidding me? When I was a kid, I would have loved to get paid to choke the chicken. Stevie Nicks got her own Barbie. It's like a regular Barbie, but comes with a billowy dress, scarves, and tons of cocaine.
Making sure breaking news stays broken. Tune in tomorrow for Prospector's Briefs on Rock 107.
What they're selling, but are you buying it? Good morning, I'm Rock 107's Prospector. Let me tell you something about Channel 22 and Channel 28 and their promos about home field advantage. Have you seen them? They talk about how home field advantage isn't just for sports. And then they go on to claim, when you know a place this well, you get info the other guys can't get. Ain't that something? Because, no one will talk to you if you're not from Northeast PA. It's like they've got a force field around them that says no outsiders allowed, right? I mean, come on. What, do you got a secret handshake for all the True Blue NEPA residents? Sorry, transplants, you're not in the club. It's bunk. Let me break it down for you. Channel 22 and 28, you're not Sherlock Holmes, okay? You're not some mystical oracle of information. You're not tapping into some cosmic source that nobody else can get to. You're a bunch of hardworking folks busting their butts to put on the news. That's great. Don't go acting like you got all the secrets of the universe tucked under your belt. Now, don't get me wrong, there's value in knowing a place well. But let's not pretend that you're some kind of psychic detectives. You ain't uncovering ancient artifacts or decoding scrolls here, okay? You're lifting stories from the newspapers, same as the other guys. Oh, and listening to scanners and reading press releases and sending reporters out, too. And don't even get me started on being local, being better at reporting the weather. We know when it's going to rain or the fog's coming in because Jerry from Nanticoke's knees start a-creaking. Come on. We got satellites in space, telescopes pointed at the sky, and you're telling me you got the scoop because Jerry from Nanticoke's got arthritis? Look, guys, I respect you. You've been around the block a few times, all right? But let's not act like you're some sort of all-knowing sage organization. You're more like that nosy neighbor who peeks through the curtains and thinks they've cracked the case. And look, I'm a hometown boy, born and raised right here in Northeast PA. Does that automatically make me a radio wizard? No. I mean, come on. You could teach someone how to pronounce troop or Tunkhannock, okay? I'm here, just a regular guy from Scranton, trying to wrap my head around all the hometown pride that somehow is being equated with being better at gathering and delivering news. Don't get me wrong, I love my roots, but let's not pretend that knowing the best shortcut to Trips Park or Shantytown makes us some kind of local deity. It doesn't. Oh, and why do the anchors always act like they're revealing the secrets of the pyramids? Folks, you won't believe what we've uncovered in this quiet little town. It's a bakery! It's not Area 51, dude! Channel 28, Channel 22, I see what you're selling, but I'm not sure I'm buying. The home field advantage. Sounds more like we know where the best donut shop is. And you know what? That's fine. Just let's not act like you're holding the keys to the kingdom. Because let's face it, even if you can pronounce Troop or Tunkhannock or find the junction without asking for help, that doesn't make you better at gathering and delivering the news. It just makes you lucky enough to have spent most of your life in the single greatest spot in the world, Northeast PA. Yeah! Oh, sorry. I was just trying to nuzzle up to that hometown pride teat, too.
Nominee number 1.
If you have to turn yourself into the cops, this is a less than ideal way to do it. A 34-year-old guy named John Hargraves turned himself into a police station in New Jersey last month by plowing his SUV through the front entrance while blasting GNR on his stereo. It happened back on September 20th in Independence Township near the Pennsylvania-New Jersey border. Surveillance footage does not have audio, but the song he was blasting was Welcome to the Jungle. And you can see the video at rock107.com. Click Prospector's Yam Bag of the Day, and the link is in the story. He immediately got out of the wrecked SUV and threw his hands in the air like he was celebrating, and then he got arrested. Thankfully, he didn't hurt anyone. It turned out he also had just plowed the same SUV through someone's garage door minutes earlier to scare and harass them. It's not clear what that's all about, but no one was injured in that crash either. He's facing multiple charges, including 1 count of first-degree terrorism, which comes with up to 30 years in prison.
Nominee number 2.
Some fights are worse than others. A 38-year-old woman named Stephanie Boyd got into an argument with her husband. At some point, she decided to leave, and her husband hopped on the hood of the car in an effort to stop her. It didn't work. She drove off with her husband on the hood. Boyd eventually got on the highway, which she traveled on for over 4 miles before exiting the interstate. During the drive, she passed through a construction zone and drove recklessly, all with her spouse on the hood of the car. A police officer saw the vehicle pass him and attempted a traffic stop. Cops say Boyd didn't pull over for another half mile. She's charged with felony assault, first-degree domestic assault, and resisting arrest by fleeing. The court set her bond at $100,000 cash only, and she's to have no contact with the victim, her husband.
And the winner is
the woman who drove around for miles with her husband clinging to the hood of the car. You could have killed somebody. And you're the Yam Bag of the Day. And we'll move on to Friday's Yam Bag of the Week competition. Keep it here for all the nominees for Prospector's Yam Bag of the Day, weekday mornings on Rock 107. Thanks for listening to Prospector's Prime Cuts podcast. Be sure to catch us live weekdays from 5:30 to 10 a.m. on Rock 107 or online at rock107.com or the Rock 107 app, a free download for your Android or iPhone. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, or wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss Prospector's Prime Cuts.